A Markie Scenic Showman'S engine. This is part 2, a closer look at the valve timing. By looking closely at this model, I can tell that someone else before me has had a go at it. There's something radically wrong with the valve timing and possibly the valve, because just listen to it. But the main thing is the valve timing. It's supposed to be set for early admission, but this is very late at one end. And just in case you haven't seen any of my other 1460 videos, I often talk about early admission being the way to go. If you admit the steam or compressed air just before the piston goes over top dead centre, and that's at each end of the cylinder, because don't forget steam engine cylinders are double acting. This one is anyway. Some of the smaller steam toys like Mammods are single acting, when the steam is applied to just one end of the piston, which in turn rotates the flywheel sufficiently to bring the piston back to the same point where the steam is admitted again. That is single acting. This is a double acting reversing steam engine, which makes it a bit more complicated. What I'm doing at the moment is moving the reversing lever back towards the centre, and even in the centre the engine still runs, which is very unusual because it's not really meant to. The position of the reversing lever changes the valve events. As it's been fed with air from my small compressor, the pressure gauge is reading just over 40 pounds per square inch. I'm going to increase this pressure just to make sure that the safety valve is set correctly. It seems to be starting to blow off around about 55 psi. And at this pressure the engine really does go fast. Too fast in fact with the regulator wide open, so I've backed it off a little bit to run it at a more realistic speed. This, by the way, is running in reverse with the reversing lever at the other end of the quadrant. It's not the most powerful engine I've ever had my hand on, but it's okay. Things should get better if I can put the valve timing right. But according to what I'm seeing here, the slide valve in the steam chest is not in the right position. I can say without fear of contradiction there is definitely something wrong with the valve events on this engine. As I said in the last episode, it's definitely a bit of a rattler. Hopefully, if I can improve the valve events, the engine should run a bit quieter than this. In this clip I put a block underneath the engine to lift the wheels off the ground, and it's in gear, and as you can see it rotates the wheels okay. However, I don't know what this engine is going to be like if you set it with the steering to run in a circle, because it doesn't have a differential, and it's even difficult to turn it round on the bench. Once again the engine's now running backwards, and it's definitely a bit smoother in reverse. Oddly enough, I've just noticed that to make it go forward you pull the reversing lever back, and to make it go backwards you push the reversing lever forward. I find this slightly confusing. Anyway, on with the job. Someone's definitely been here before me. Look at the marks on the screws on the steam chest. And there's evidence of some impact marks where the steam chest has been hit with something, possibly to try and jolt the slide valve into life. And there are also some marks on the whistle valve union adapter. When you work on any steam engine you have to have a firm but delicate touch. When you work on a small brass steam engine the touch has to be even more delicate. Time to remove the steam chest. In case you're wondering what the two pipes are that come out of the steam chest, they connect to a single drain cock which hangs down underneath the engine. This is to clear the first steam that enters the cylinder, which obviously condenses to water. In an engine of this type and size it's really not essential to have a drain cock, but it's a nice touch. Plus drain cocks normally come from each end of the cylinder, and not from the steam chest. The two bolts at the bottom right hand corner of the steam chest cover are difficult to get to because of the motion guard, but by using a small screwdriver at a shallow angle both of the bolts removed okay. And here's a single drain cock part I was talking about. It would appear that the slide valve is a fairly tight fit on the drive block, and the position of the slide valve is definitely not set correctly. It uncovers the right hand port far more than the left one. Time to rummage through my small box of Allen keys to find the right size Allen key. That way I can undo the grub screw that secures the drive block to the valve spindle, and then hopefully I can set the valve equidistant between the ports. As an unusual design, the valve chest is held to the cylinder with two more bolts. After I removed the two bolts, the valve chest was securely stuck to the cylinder and needed a Stanley knife blade to unstick it. All of a sudden it gave way and now it's free from the cylinder. In the next episode, I'll be taking a much closer look at the valve and the port face, and reprofiling the valve so it does not stick to the drive block. And that's it for now. I'd just like to say, stay safe, stay well, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back, making it unnecessary to comment that the videos are too short.